I'm going to ask you a question that I'm a bit afraid to ask you, actually, and a bit embarrassed to do it. I very stupidly asked you this 8 or 9 months ago. It was certainly less than a year, but more than just a bit. And when I did it, everyone kind of gazed at me like I'd cursed your mama. And then everyone bowed their heads as if praying. But I'm pretty sure you were hoping to avoid me seeing you. Finally, one of you, sitting over here, plucked up a little bit of courage and said, "Yes?" Are you asking me or telling me? As the teacher would say, right? Yes, I think I want to. And Linda says, I remember that question. Do you want to be a saint? Yes, maybe. Are you asking or telling, right? And I was embarrassed for you, and a little bit embarrassed for me, if I'm honest, because the answer was not really a ringing endorsement of sainthood and following Jesus Christ. We were reluctant saints, one might say. And it bothered me, and so I asked probably 5 to 10 people privately so they could tell the truth. Why don't you want to become a saint? Because it seems like so natural and obvious that that's what you'd want to do if you're coming to church and trying to follow Jesus. And yet, here we are looking like our mom has been cussed, and then we're praying, hoping to avoid being seen. And several people said, you know, a lot of those saints got martyred. I don't think I want to be killed for the Christian faith. And I get it. I kind of don't like the idea of getting killed either. And then a couple more people said, you know, a lot of those saints grew up awful poor. And they were poor their whole lives until they died. I don't think I want to be a really poor person. And I get it. I mean, more money, more better, right? I mean, money doesn't fix every problem, but it sure does make dealing with them a little easier, doesn't it? If you need a $100 battery for your car and you got $100, it's not a disaster. But if you ain't got $100, it kind of is. And then a couple more said, well, a lot of the saints seem like they lived really hard lives. I like being comfortable. I like a good life. And I hate to admit it, but I kind of like a good life too, don't you? I mean, if you don't, come see me. There's lots of housework and like trimming and weeding to be done at my house. I could ruin your life with little tasks. But I want a good life. Now, to be fair, not all of the saints were martyred, and not all of them lived in poverty, and not all of them lived super hard lives. But truth in advertising, an awful lot of them did end up martyred. And an awful lot of them did lead impoverished lives. Even the ones who started off rich seemed to give it all away in service of the kingdom of God and ended up with not a terrible amount left. And a lot of them did lead kind of rough and tumble, hard lives. Think about St. Mother Teresa, who wants to move to Calcutta. No one. That's who. So do you want to be a saint? Now, Jesus talks about this in the gospel reading this morning, oddly enough, and what it means to be a saint. Blessed are you when? Blessed are you when you are poor. And again, I don't think I really want to be poor. I mean, I don't want to be like Jeff Bezos rich, right? I mean, maybe I do want to be Jeff Bezos rich secretly, but that's probably passed me by at this point. I mean, don't laugh, it's passed you by too, probably. None of you are going to make $100 billion. And if you do, I hope you tithe on it to us. But, I mean, I would like to be able to afford good food and live in a good house. Don't you? And I don't really want to get murdered for the Christian faith. Do you? Jesus says, but blessed are you when you're poor. Blessed are you when you're not comfortable. Blessed are you when others treat you poorly for the sake of the gospel. And woe to you. Watch out, because your life is actually in danger if you've got plenty of money right now. And if you're super comfortable right now. And if everyone walks around treating you good. And so, I think we get that tepid answer, I don't know if I want to be a saint or not. But know that if you aren't trying to become a saint, you are not living a Christian life. Because the end of following Jesus, leading a Christian life, is becoming a saint. That's what it means. Because the goal of following Jesus is to be perpetual and eternal friends with him in paradise. The church has a word for that. It's called saint. And I don't think it's that money by itself is bad, or living a rich life, or the middle class equivalent, a comfortable life, is necessarily bad. But do you remember when you were a kid, didn't they tell you that you could do anything you put your mind to? I think they still tell children that. Colton, do they tell you that in school? You can be anything you want to be. Yes? Good. Just say yes, even if it's not true. Right, but you can be whatever you'd like to be if you put your mind to it and work at it. And it's true. If you really want to be rich, you're going to put all of your effort and time and thought into getting rich. And you'll probably get there. And if you really want to just live the most comfortable life possible, you'll put all your effort into that, and your mind, and your thought, and your hopes and dreams, and you'll probably get there. If you want others to think good of you, it's really easy. Just tell them what they want to hear. You could start that today. But if you really want to become a saint, it probably means focusing less on getting lots of money, less on being super comfortable, and less on making everyone else think how great of a person you are. But if you really want to be a saint, then you can. And if you don't yet want to be a saint, perhaps ask yourself, what the heck am I doing in church anyways? My prayer for you is that through the intercession of the saints and through cooperation with God's prevenient grace, that God helping, you will be a saint too. Amen.